Okay, guys, today's going to be short and sweet. I just got back from Utah, taking my son to Dino Park, which was super cool. But so the Colorado Assault Weapons Ban Bill, known as SB 003 or SB 3 or SB 25003, however you want to call it, has passed the third reading in the House. Unfortunately, it has to go to the Senate now to be confirmed. Once it's confirmed, then it can go to the governor's desk, and hopefully Governor Polis will veto the damn thing. I mean, I'm not crossing my fingers and holding my breath on that, but yeah, so that's where we're at. Listening to the Big Timber Lodge, he has a good point. The start date to this bill, if it becomes a law, was supposed to be 1 September this year. It has been pushed to, I think, 1 August next year. And if it does pass, then hopefully we can recall some individuals and get pro Second Amendment people in there, and then they can, I mean, it's a long shot, it's Hail Mary, right? And then they can repeal the actual law before it actually takes effect, which would be, pretty awesome. So again, that's a Hail Mary, but that's something that could be done. The other thing is, obviously, it's going to get challenged in court. I don't have any faith in the Colorado judicial system when it comes to Second Amendment rights. That's for damn sure. But maybe the district, which, again, I don't really have a whole lot of faith in the district court either. So yeah, it's a super uphill battle when it comes to this Second Amendment grab, this gun grab, so to speak. What really grinds my gears is that, they always tout, the weapons of war, weapons of war, weapons of war. Since I started my career, in 1999 in the military, I had used 12 gauge shotguns. I used a 92 series Beretta. I used a Glock 19. I used a SIG M17. And none of them would claim that those are weapons of war. But however, they're literally issued to our United States military. So how are they not weapons of war? So this is a slippery slope. This is what they want to do. They're saying, okay, what's this weapon of war? And they're talking about specifically the AR-15, AK-47, and stuff like that. They say that it's designed for mass killing, so on and so forth. But realize that generally almost all weapons are or can be weapons of war. If there's a war that breaks out and the only weapon you have is a single shot shotgun, for example, well, guess what? That's a weapon of war. Bayonets are weapons of war. We don't prohibit those, for example. I don't know, man. Like, these people, I didn't realize how stupid people can be when it comes to this stuff until I started really paying attention to the left, really. That's what it boils down to, is the left. And listening to the testimony yesterday on the way back home, I was really taken back by one of the representatives, female. She said her and her grandmas, formed a defense network, so on and so forth, blah blah blah. And she likes to plink around with her AR-15. But then she turns around. She did a switcheroo. She turns around and she said, and I think everybody needs training to get AR-15. So I'm going to be a yes vote on this. Like, it didn't make any sense to me. It's like, you literally bought an AR-15, no training whatsoever, and you really love it, but yet now you're going to mandate the entire population of Colorado that wants to get one of these specified semi-automatics. It now has to have mandated 12 hours for training. It's unreal. It's unreal. I think that was the same lady who was saying, like, she had to go talk to her husband, and, you know, they're a hunter, and her stupid ass husband was like, well, no, you don't need an AR-15 to hunt. Yeah, that's true. You don't need an AR-15 to hunt, but that's not the point of the fucking Second Amendment. Hello? That's not the fucking point. Hunting is not the point of the Second Amendment. Hell, self-defense ain't even the point of the Second Amendment. It's literally the right to keep and bear, period. The right to keep and bear. Obviously, you want to keep and bear for lawful purposes, not unlawful purposes. So some of those things fall in that category of lawful purposes, but the crux of it is the right to keep and bear. It's just asinine to me. I'm going on post right now, so let me get my card out here. I'm really frustrated. And I don't know what else to do or to say. You know, you fight the good fight, and sometimes you lose. Hold on that thought. Oh, what's going on?
Nothing much. How's it going?
It's going.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Have a good day. So, if this thing does become law, and its effective date is 1 August next year, I believe I have to read the law again read the bill again because ultimately they changed the entire thing from its original form. It's morphed into something I don't even know what it is right now. But from my understanding is that verified instructors in Colorado from last year's bill can give the training. And if that's the case, I will be conducting the training so that individuals can exercise their right with the quote-unquote specified semi-automatic. I have also determined that I am going to take another route to ensure that the financial aspect doesn't deter anyone from exercising their rights. More to follow on that. I'm not going to let the cat out of the bag, but there's going to be a way, a method to help individuals meet the financial burden so they can get the training, they can get the ammunition, they can get the they can apply for their tags or whatever the hell it is, their permits. There's gonna be a way, there's gonna be a method, and I'm gonna start working on that this year. Hopefully it'll be ready to go by next year, because this is ridiculous. With the concealed carry law, the excise tax, potentially this SB 25003, the safe storage law, all these all these gun laws, these gun control laws, it's going to cost anyone who wants to exercise their rights in a concealed fashion or with a specified semi-automatic, it's going to cost them anywhere from $1,200 to $1,500 from start to finish. That's getting the firearm. That's getting doing the training. That's the purchase of the permit. That's all that stuff. That's from start to finish, from start to bang. And that's what they're doing. That's what they're wanting to do. They're wanting to limit it so that individuals who cannot afford it aren't able to exercise their right, which is unfortunate because they also say that black and brown people are disproportionately affected financially with other things in their lives, which I don't know that to be true. Maybe it is true. I'm not saying one way or another, but if it is true, they are severely going to be affected by this if they want to exercise their Second Amendment rights, because they're American. Everybody in America who has a birth certificate from America is American, regardless of sex, color, creed, whatever the case may be. Doesn't matter. Which means you have a Second Amendment right, you have a First Amendment right. So now they're limiting those individuals that they purport are affected financially by other facets of their life. They're severely limiting their capability to exercise their right. Yeah. Let's see. I'm gonna look at the comments now. Do not comply. It's okay. Well, it's kind of hard not to comply when you can't get the firearm in the first place. I love the energy. However, I don't think there's anybody out there that's going to sell a firearm to another person without knowing that they could be held criminally liable. That's obviously not an option unless we were in some kind of civil war state. Okay, that's so. I like the energy, but not complying is not an option. I'm not going to go to jail for how many ever years and pay an exorbitant amount of fines because I didn't want to comply. That's just not something that I'm not willing to do. Let's see. I mean, you really have to be a badass to cause a match casualty with a bayonet. Well, Jocelyn, AD. In fact, there was someone with a knife, and I can't remember exactly the date, but in Denver, they literally harmed a ton of people in Denver proper. Okay, so knives are super dangerous in the wrong hands, of course, just like a firearm. So there's that. There's plenty of cases worldwide, and I hate to go overseas for things, but also here in the United States, there's plenty of cases where knives were used more often than not. In fact, they're definitely used more than rifles in general when it comes to homicides. Okay, imagine swinging yeah. I mean, you're not wrong. However, it will do a lot of damage. That's for damn sure. The Second Amendment does not say that we have to tell its government the right of the people to... Wait, hold on. I'm trying to figure this out here. What tells government that the right of the people to be armed should not be messed with or delayed? I mean, it says shall not be infringed. I mean, shall, when it comes to legal terms, I mean, that's pretty strong. It's not may, it's shall. Shall not be infringed. Not may not be infringed. Not may not be infringed. So, Yeah, it does actually say that. Shall not be infringed. And Supreme Court precedents, as far as I'm concerned, from what I've been reading from the Supreme Court cases in the past, yeah, your right to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed, but there's going to be some very specific nuances where they can actually take firearms from an individual if they're deemed to be dangerous, or if the firearm is deemed to be what is it, unusually dangerous, or unusual and dangerous, for example. I can't remember exactly the terms, but yeah, so it does say shall. No one at the range is going to go, do you have a specified semi-automatic license? I mean, really? I mean, that's not true. That 100%. But the thing about this bill is what it does is going to prohibit the sale and transfer of a firearm. So, a specified semi-automatic firearm, to be specific. So, therefore, if you want to buy a firearm, even if you have one, and that one is grandfathered, let's say, into this next year, um, you still have to go through all that training just to buy another one, even though you've had the specified semi-automatics for years, let's say. So yeah, you can take your specified semi-automatic, you can go to the range, and nobody's going to say anything. They're not going to bat an eye at it. But the moment you try to buy one, and if you do so illegally, you could definitely be held liable for that, and that is not good. Obviously, you don't want to be in jail for however long it is. Good morning, ma'am. Thank you. Knives can't kill a school full of children. Yes, they can, actually. In the wrong hands, knives can kill a whole lot of people. So that is misinformation there, Query. Joseph, the bill will punish lower income, fixed income citizens to make someone wait longer than necessary. Yes, 100%. In fact, right now, the Colorado Concealed Carry here in El Paso County, they're booked up. The application process is booked up through August. And that was from last year's bill, and I tried to warn everybody to go ahead and get on the books to apply during the Tanner gun shows and stuff like that. But yeah, so there's going to be a long wait. There's going to be a super long wait, I think, and I fear. Let's see. I hate to tell you, but I know a bayonet can cause a lot of energy in a crowded area. Okay. School safety is not about restricting law-abiding citizens from owning common use of firearms. Joseph, if this was about school safety, then why are they not making a bill to require schools to have armed security guards in the schools? If they did that, I'd be all for it. Like, armed security guard, let's do it, right? And then make the security guards get the training that they're saying that they need, right? As a security guard trainer myself here in Colorado Springs and in Denver, I can assure you that the training is not as robust as you think it should be. So, in the training you're going to get with these specified semi-automatics is probably actually more than a security guard would get in Denver or Colorado Springs. So, I don't think this is about school safety. I don't think this is about children's safety. I don't think this is about any other kind of safety, quote unquote, and I don't think it's about saving lives at all. It's about control. It's about, oh, look at the thing. It's scary, right? Whereas vehicular accidents actually cause more deaths every year in Colorado than firearms in general. So there's that. Where was I? Oh, school safety. Here we go. I agree with you, Joseph. Okay, Colonel Sanders, 17. You can agree, that's fine. Or disagree. Just go to Wyoming and buy your rifles. Technically speaking, you're not if you get caught doing that, that would be a federal crime, nutcracker. Technically speaking, that would be a federal crime if you went to another state as a resident of, let's say, Colorado, and you went to another state and did that. I'm not saying to do it or not to do it, because most certainly you probably could, but should you? And then if you did, then you would absolutely need to trust everyone involved, because if you got caught, you would definitely be facing federal crimes there. Colorado's had a wild 8-year gun rights wise, about 18 before they Senate might be hearing. Oh, okay, yeah, they might be, Emily. I'm not sure. Being gone in a state that's spooky, I can only imagine poor people in Cali, New York. Yep. And speaking of California, so I'm on the California CCW website, not website, excuse me, group in Facebook. Can't get my words straight together today. Somebody posted in there that it took them about a year and a quarter, excuse me, two and a quarter years to get their CCW, and it took, I think their classes there are running, their CCW classes are running for 16 hours. Ours is now 8, and mark my words, someone up there at the General Assembly will try to make it 16 hours in the future. I guarantee it. So 16 hours, and they call it, I think the course cost them $400. Yeah, so that's where we're headed right now. Let's see, it's a terrible bill, putting resources from Colorado parks. Yep, absolutely. And you're taking money from, you're taking money not only from in-state hunters, but out-of-state hunters that come here to hunt, to impose a bill on the residents of Colorado. It's pretty asinine. Use honorable discharge. I don't disagree with that. Honorable discharge veterans to defend school property would be awesome. Obviously, not all veterans are created equal, and what I mean by that is that there's a lot of veterans out there that can't hit the broadside of the barn, so they obviously need some training, some really good training, because in my personal belief, if a security guard is doing security guard things, then they should be top notch, at least in the firearms realm, if they're doing firearm security, for example. Police response 15 minutes or more, absolutely. Let's say in a post Bruin decision world, whatever. I don't disagree. We have a lot of seats we can flip, hopefully. Yes, Emily, Phil Polis's voicemail every day. Is it the chicken or egg? They say you need to take all this training to buy the gun. Yep. No, that's true. Chicken or egg. Yeah. Yeah, that lady, the representative, I can't remember who she was, but anyway, she bought an AR-15. She loves to shoot the AR-15, but now she's going to mandate everybody else to get the training to buy an AR-15. Let's say frustrating. Yep, super frustrating. It's a paywall. Absolutely. If the Senate doesn't like the 1 August date, they can just rip that from the bill. Yep, they could. If it's about safety, why would they want a person with bad intentions to be better trained with a rifle? Yeah, I get you. I don't think they think that bad, quote unquote, bad people are going to be taking the training. Obviously, if they did, they absolutely would not vote for this thing. In my belief, maybe they would. I don't know. But my question is okay, so let's say an individual does go through the training and does get a specified semi-automatic, and now has this, let's say, an AR-15, because I mean, it's the most common rifle out there. So let's just pick on it for a second. Let's say they do all this training, they get an AR-15, they have this 30 round magazine, they have this, whatever, this 15 round magazine, whatever it is, right? And then they go and they shoot up a school. What's next? What's next? Okay, so they did the training, they did the 2 background checks, they paid the money, they did all these things. Then what is next there? And this is either they've thought about this and they're like, well, then the next step is to ban them all outright, or they haven't thought about this and they're like, oh wait, maybe it's not the guns problem, maybe it's not the gun issue, right? Maybe it's the people issue, right? So I don't see any exceptions in this bill for former military, law enforcement, and currently employed armed security. Sad. I have a love-hate relationship with that comment, Joe. I don't like exceptions, because then you end up with something like HR 218, which is the LEOSA bill, right? The Law Enforcement Safety Officer Act, right? And that enables a law enforcement officer who had been, retired after 10 years of service, let's say, to get a concealed carry that is recognized nationwide, and that puts the rest of us in the back seat. That puts the rest of us as a second-class citizen. So I don't like exceptions. If a bill is good enough for one, I think a bill should be good enough for all. I don't think there should be exceptions for security guards, police, law enforcement, whatever. I don't think there should be any exceptions whatsoever, because we're all Americans at the end of the day. And if the bill is good enough for one citizen, then the bill should be good enough for all citizens, just like the Second Amendment is good enough for all citizens. So I will kind of disagree with you on this, the exception thing. Forcing citizens to spend hundreds of thousands, spend years in court, challenge state. Yep, I agree with you. Nobody. Grant Decent. Yeah, doesn't have a gun problem. There is definitely a mental health problem, and a lot of people won't like me saying this, but I think it has to do with this woke agenda. I think there's a whole lot to do with that. Maybe SSRIs. I can't speak smartly on those, but I mean, hell, even our RFK had mentioned something about SSRIs. In my personal belief, if you make something and you ingest it and it messes with your cognitive ability and all these other things, then maybe you shouldn't be taking it. Maybe there's alternatives, but whatever. I'm not a doctor. If you have already CCW, do you still need to go through the training? As far as I'm concerned, or as far as I understand, rather, yes, I think you do. And I'm going to look into the law when it actually becomes law. If it becomes law, hopefully it doesn't. But I'm going to integrate both the Colorado concealed weapons training with the 12 hours. So the first 8 hour will be the concealed weapons training, and the last 4 hours of the 12-hour portion will be for the specified semi-automatics, right? And then we can go into like, what's a gas operated, what's a direct gas, what's a piston gas, what's a blowback system. We can go through all those things to fill up the course, because I'm not sure if they actually specify exactly what needs to be in these safety courses, right? And then obviously there'll be some shooting in there. There shouldn't be exemptions. The Second Amendment is about fighting for it. Yep, there should not be any exceptions, and I agree with that. So, all right, looks like I've ran through all the comments. So I really appreciate you guys listening to me run my suck for the last 30 minutes on this SB3. Taking your time out of your day to listen to me fumble through my words. I will be following this, continuously following this, and trying to figure out how we can combat this even more. Until then, I'm going to work. Bye, guys.